The Village of Hainesville regular board meeting will now come to order Tuesday, April 24th, 2012 at 7:01 p.m. If everybody would please rise and join me, I will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Solo.
Present.
Trustees Daranaski.
Here.
Kreese.
Here.
Duberstein. Here. Barrett. Daly.
Here.
And Washington is absent.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Gary Walkington called me earlier today. He did give me a comment to add later. He is out planting the corn. Going to get it in before the rain.
So we planted in Rochelle today, trust me.
Yeah, the time has come. So I just said give us the usual free samples when it's time and plant and have good luck. Can I have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Daranaski.
Aye.
Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
Motion carried.
At this time, we will take public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board should have submitted a form to our Deputy Clerk, Roseanne. Control yourselves.
Don't all go at once.
Okay.
Just line up right here by the
Moving on. Do we have a motion for the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Daranaski.
Aye.
Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. We'll move on to announcements from the mayor. Kathy Metzler, our village clerk, had some minor surgery on this past Friday. I'm happy to say it went very well. She had some surgery done on her knee and some work done on her shoulder. She did wind up spending the night. They had some concerns with her breathing, but I'm happy to report that she went home with a clear bill of health on Saturday. She started her full-blown physical therapy yesterday. Yeah, ouch is right. And I spoke to her briefly this afternoon. Actually, I talked mainly to her husband because she was in therapy when I called. And the village did call it an order. I told them to pick it up on the way home, so they did stop at Tanks and pick up their Chinese food, which was right down the street. I told her to enjoy and take her pain medicine and go to bed. Kathy is going to hopefully try to come in tomorrow, at least for a couple hours. Wednesday's a good first day since we're closed to the public. She can get some of her quiet work done, and I don't think we'll be letting her put a full day in, but things seem to be going very well with that. Also, some of you may have seen the article this weekend in the Daily Herald. I was at another meeting Friday afternoon at the Lake County Department of Transportation with the Route 53 120 Blue Ribbon Planning Council. So that effort continues to move forward. They're still committed to sticking to a very tight timeline and getting a concept plan that the Illinois Tollway Authority can work with by May 10th. So I think that's going to be interesting to accomplish, especially with some of the comments that were made. The article talks about the strong stance still being taken by the environmentalists, and it quoted me because I spoke at the March 12th meeting and again reiterated that I think we all take pride in Hainesville of trying to be conscientious of the environment, but our purpose in government, of course, is the common good. So we have to take all things into consideration. And I told him that it was very hard for me to contain myself during that first hour of hearing the council talk before it was public comment time where I could speak, because while I heard many endangered species and sensitive areas being discussed, I never once heard a concern or statement expressed in regards to other endangered species that I was concerned about. Number one being middle-income families, number two being employers, and number three being jobs. And that Lake County is very quickly becoming a land of the wealthy and the very poor. So I think that this project is pivotal, and I hope that it can move forward, because the encouraging thing is the Illinois Tollway Authority is there, they're present, and I don't mean one or two people, I mean staff is there from the Tollway Authority saying they want to do this project, they believe they can do this project, and if we can find a way to work it through. So stay tuned. And you know, those meetings are open to the public. I know a Friday from 1 to 4 in the afternoon isn't very convenient and desirable for most people, and that's when this last meeting was. So I hope that they can find some other times to also maybe conduct the next meeting. The other thing that was brought up that I'm anxious to hear how soon it would be called, because it would have to be called very quickly, and we would have to work collectively as a group very quickly to meet this May deadline, or May 10th deadline that they're talking about. It's been stated at the first meeting and more strongly at the second meeting that they feel there's a need to get the central Lake County communities, such as Hainesville, Grace Lake, the Round Lake communities, Volo together, and to take each of their comprehensive plans, which are been done on an individual basis, and look at them more collectively from a regional aspect. And that's fine, and I get that. I think that's quite a task to take on, though, if you're going to do that and then report back to this council and yet still try to meet a May 10th deadline. So I await that announcement and invitation. Also, the other news that hit the headlines that some of you may be aware of, the Village of Antioch very recently had a vote taken there. Antioch is disbanding and their dispatch center, which they had on their own due to cost and effectiveness, and they were considering several alternatives, CENTCOM being one of them. And so they voted to disband and to work out moving forward with CENTCOM. It's exciting, but I had some concerns because at the last JetSport meeting we still had a lot of unanswered questions. And then of course we approved the budget for the upcoming year for CENTCOM, just as we recently did here for the village. And I was sent a version, a draft of a budget if Antioch came on board, and then another draft if they did not. And that raised a lot of questions, which I emailed ahead of time and talked to Lisa Berger, the director. Came to find out today, and by the way, I do want to let you know that the police chief of Antioch and the fire chief were both present at the meeting, so they were there. We got further explanation. It turns out the draft that we all received that includes Antioch is really kind of null and void, and the figures are wrong because the budget was written assuming that they would be a participant immediately May 1, which I also question how that could happen that rapidly, especially when you're talking about adding 6 more dispatchers. That's not the case. At the earliest, they would be coming on August 15th, and that would be the earliest, or it could be, you know, the end of September. Some good news is the equipment that is in Antioch at their dispatch center is the same equipment and furniture stations that we have at CENTCOM. In fact, when we remodeled CENTCOM, Antioch bought the same type of equipment and furniture within months that CENTCOM purchased it. So, when CENTCOM was remodeled, there was 2 additional stations built in already. They're not equipped with equipment, but the stations exist. So there is equipment that Antioch will bring over that will then complete those stations, and they would be immediately operable. And then there's additional furniture and equipment that matches this. And so that would be a significant part of also their buy-in to joining CENTCOM. There's just another footnote I want to add that was not addressed or voted on today, but is being pursued and we'll have an answer, and that is Lake Villa Fire Rescue is tied into Antioch's 911 system. They have not made a decision to follow or come along. If they choose to do elsewhere, it will be a little more involved for them because they will have to remove their phone lines, or how that all works, from the being tied to Antioch's Fire 911 system. So that might be a motivation for them to come on board additionally. So I will keep everybody posted on that as well. So I think that Antioch coming on board will be fine for the upcoming budget year, and that the real key to the budget and making this work will actually be the following year's budget. But the buy-in seems to be more than adequate with the value of the equipment that they would be bringing over. It's over in proportion of the equity we have as an owner or participant in CENTCOM. And then another final thought that we don't necessarily have to decide tonight, but I would like to decide by the next board meeting. So if you don't have an opinion tonight, you want to think about it. This is the board members I'm talking to now. You can call me or email me and let me know your thoughts. I have spoken with mayors of other towns, particularly smaller towns like ours, and one of the things that they've done that I think we may very well want to consider, at least possibly for the summer months, June, July, and August, village business, as far as approvals, discussions, especially now that we've passed the budget stage this year, aren't as extensive or as much as we would like, because there's really no development, unfortunately, in the area. There's no prospects. And years ago, the village used to have board meetings only once a month. The reason we changed it to 2 a month is because we had all kinds of building going on and development, and the place was happy, so to speak. So the thought is, do we want for June, July, and August to say we're going to cancel one of the meetings and only have one meeting each month? And the logic is it really worth having the staff and I go through preparing a second packet for the amount of stuff we have on the agenda at this time? And can their time and our time be utilized better elsewhere? I'm not looking to free up anything, but there are other things that unfortunately do take a lot more of our time, whether it's dealing with foreclosure notices and all of this other, not so fun stuff, but some stuff that has to be dealt with. And I think we have a lot of other committee work projects. So think about it, let me know your thoughts. I talked to Kelly, our treasurer, about it because the only other concern was bills payable, which get approved. And there's a couple ways of dealing with it. One of Kelly's suggestions, which has some merit, but it also, again, depends on your schedules, is that if we meet only once in June, July, and August, that we should do it the 4th Tuesday of the month and not the 2nd, because then every single bill is in and accounted for. So you have a complete bills payable. A lot of times, depending where that first meeting falls, sometimes it's kind of very scarce because a lot of things haven't hit. Now, recurring payments, she knows what those are, even if the statement hasn't hit yet, so she can always record that. So I thought that was a very valid point and would be a very good way to deal with it. The other thing we could do, as we've done in the past, where she just puts bills payables and emails them to you and we get a consensus. but I get a little nervous about it, you know, did everybody really read it, did everybody look at it, having a vote on the record, so